Beloved companions on the path of earth, I am Michael, a guardian of clarity and steadfast courage. I step forward to speak to you now about the nature of change, for humanity as a whole stands at thresholds both personal and collective. Many of you have felt as though the ground beneath your feet has shifted, as though the patterns and assurances that once seemed stable are dissolving before your eyes. This experience can bring fear, resistance, even anger. Yet I tell you with the strength of truth, change is not your enemy. It is the invitation through which life itself continues to unfold. When you were born into this world, you entered a realm of impermanence. Seasons turn, rivers reshape their courses, children grow into adults and then into elders. Your own body and mind are not static, they transform continuously. This is the natural order. The difficulty arises not from the fact of change but from the human tendency to cling to what feels known and safe. The clinging tightens the heart and narrows the field of vision. It makes what is natural feel like a threat. To walk through change with courage is to remember that you are more than any particular circumstance. You are not defined solely by your possessions, your titles, your opinions, or even by your roles in the lives of others. Beneath all of these lies the essence of your being, a spark of the infinite, capable of adapting, learning, and responding with creativity. When you root your sense of identity in this deeper essence, the winds of change may still stir the branches of your life, but they cannot uproot you. Many of the great shifts taking place in your time in societies, in technologies, in the climate of the planet, in patterns of human relationship may appear as disruptions. They unsettle habits, challenge assumptions, and sometimes bring endings. But within each change is also an opening. Like a seed cracking its shell to send forth a tender shoot, each disruption carries the potential for a new expression of life. The courage I speak of is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move forward even in the presence of fear, trusting that life's deeper currents will guide you. Courage does not have to be loud or dramatic. It often shows itself in quiet acts, the choice to be honest when it would be easier to remain silent, the willingness to begin anew after disappointment, the decision to extend kindness in the midst of conflict. Each of these is a step through change. Each strengthens the inner muscles of trust and resilience. These small, persistent acts of courage accumulate, shaping the course of a life and the character of a community. There is a common misconception that strength means resisting change, standing immovable like a stone wall. Yet even the strongest walls eventually crumble when the river shifts course. True strength is more like that of a tree, with deep roots and flexible branches. The roots anchor the tree in the nourishing earth, the branches sway with the winds and reach toward the light. Your roots are your core values: integrity, compassion, willingness to learn, reverence for life. Your branches are your attitudes and behaviors, which can and must bend to adapt to new circumstances. Remember the tree as you face the winds of change. Fear often arises because change reminds you of the unknown. The human mind, conditioned by survival instincts, prefers predictability. It wants to chart a clear map of what lies ahead. But life is more like a vast landscape shrouded in mist. The path is revealed a few steps at a time. This uncertainty is not a flaw in the design of existence, it is what allows for genuine discovery, for the emergence of creativity, for the exercise of freedom. To meet the unknown with curiosity rather than dread is an act of courage. It opens the door for insight to come in ways the logical mind could not have foreseen. If you find yourself paralyzed by the scale of changes in the world, bring your attention back to the present moment. Courage grows in the soil of now. Ask yourself, what is the next honest step I can take? It may be as simple as acknowledging your feelings, as practical as organizing your tasks for the day, as relational as reaching out to a friend or neighbor. Do not underestimate these steps. Each one is a thread in the larger weaving of your destiny. By tending to the present with integrity, you help shape a future aligned with your deeper purpose. As a guardian of courage, I also remind you of the power of choice. You may not control the circumstances that arise, but you always retain the ability to choose how to respond. You can choose to see challenges as obstacles or as opportunities for growth. You can choose to tighten with resentment or to open with curiosity. You can choose to act from fear or from trust. These choices are not abstract, they shape your energy, your relationships, and ultimately the world you help co-create. Many of you carry memories of times when change brought pain. Perhaps you lost what you loved, or your sense of stability was shaken. It is natural to feel protective in the face of new shifts. Yet, if you look closely at your own history, you will also find that certain transformations you once resisted later revealed themselves as doorways to unexpected blessings, new insights, deeper relationships, a clearer sense of purpose. Let these memories become seeds of faith in your ability to navigate the current and future tides of change. In every era, humanity has faced collective turning points. People have had to rethink the ways they live together, the ways they relate to the earth, the ways they pursue knowledge and meaning. These turning points have often been accompanied by conflict and uncertainty, but they have also been the crucibles in which new forms of understanding and cooperation emerged. You are now living in such a time. The old ways of organizing societies, using resources, and perceiving your place in the cosmos are being questioned. The courage to walk through change includes the courage to imagine alternatives, to experiment, to make mistakes and learn, to build bridges across divides. Do not mistake courage for recklessness. To act with courage is to act with clarity and integrity. It is to take thoughtful steps even in the face of risk, not to leap blindly into danger. The warrior's strength I represent is not about conquest or domination, it is about steadfastness, the capacity to hold your ground in truth while moving forward with discernment. There is wisdom in preparing for change by nurturing inner stillness. In the midst of outer turbulence, a calm center allows you to respond rather than react. This inner calm is cultivated through practices that connect you with your deeper essence, periods of silence, mindful breathing, contemplation of nature, acts of service done without expectation of reward. These practices are not escapes from reality, they are ways of attuning yourself to the deeper currents of reality that remain steady beneath the surface shifts. Some of you may feel as though the pace of change in your lives or in the world is overwhelming. When this happens, it can be helpful to remember that transformation unfolds in cycles. There are times of acceleration and times of integration. The human spirit needs moments to absorb new experiences, to reflect, to rest. Trust that it is acceptable to move at the pace that allows you to remain true to your values and your well-being. You need not rush to keep up with every external demand. In your personal lives, change often comes in the form of endings and beginnings, the conclusion of one chapter, the dawning of another. Honor the endings with gratitude for what they have given, even if they brought challenges. Welcome the beginnings with curiosity and openness, even if they arrive with uncertainty. This attitude transforms the passage of change from a battlefield into a rite of passage. In your communities and societies, you can contribute to navigating change with courage by engaging in honest dialogue, by listening as well as speaking, by seeking to understand perspectives different from your own. Change often brings conflict not because difference itself is harmful but because fear of difference breeds defensiveness. Courage invites you to stand in your convictions while remaining open to learning from others. This balance is essential for building a future in which diverse voices can shape shared paths forward. Let me speak also to the inner change that accompanies every outer shift. When circumstances alter, you are invited to grow in awareness, to examine beliefs, assumptions, habits of thought and action that may have been unconsciously inherited from the past. Inner change is the foundation of meaningful outer change. The courage to question yourself, to let go of what no longer serves, to adopt new ways of seeing and being, this is often the most profound form of bravery. As you walk through the landscape of change, call upon your inner resources and remember that you are not isolated. You are part of a vast network of living beings, visible and invisible, who support the unfolding of life. The courage you cultivate within yourself contributes to the collective courage of humanity. When you act with integrity and trust, you strengthen the invisible web that connects you to all others who strive to do the same. I offer you now a vision, imagine a mountain path winding upward through mist. The air is cool, the ground sometimes uneven, yet your steps are steady. Beside you, unseen but sensed, walks a companion who carries a torch not to show you the whole mountain, but to light the next few steps. This is the nature of guidance. It does not remove the challenge of the climb, it illumines the way as you walk it. Trust that such guidance is available to you from your own inner wisdom, from the quiet voice of conscience, from the encouragement of those who walk alongside you. The courage to walk through change is not reserved for a chosen few. It is a birthright of every soul who enters this world of impermanence. It grows through practice, through choosing again and again to meet life with presence rather than avoidance. Each time you do so, you strengthen the light of courage within you, and that light becomes a beacon for others. Beloved ones, as you continue your journey, know that you are accompanied by unseen allies who hold you in steadfast regard. I, Michael, stand as one of these, not to dictate your choices but to remind you of your innate strength. When you feel the tremor of fear at the threshold of change, pause, breathe, remember your roots and your essence, and take the next step. One step is enough. The path reveals itself as you walk it. May you discover in the midst of change not merely the loss of what has been but the birth of what is yet to be. May you carry yourself with the dignity of one who knows that courage is not the absence of vulnerability but the willingness to keep your heart open as you move forward. May the winds of change become for you not a threat but a carrier of fresh possibilities. This is my message to you in this season of transformation. Hold it as a companion, return to it when uncertainty clouds your vision, and trust that the courage you seek is already stirring within you, ready to guide your steps.